The views and opinions expressed on this show are 100% entertainment. Don't take any of this to the bank. It will say insufficient funds.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me, as always, is Jamie, and this is Loose Cannons 44, Episode 8. Jamie, I'd ask how you were doing, but I kind of already know how you're doing, so why don't you tell everybody else how you're doing?
I'm not feeling very patriotic right now.
It's because this isn't a patriotic show. It can't be.
I don't know how we'll ever become a patriotic show.
Well, we get Brandon involved, we might get that patriotic show you're wanting going.
Well, we have this little place that's 10 mile by 10 mile by 10 mile, not 10 square miles. That'd be 100 square miles. Yeah. Actually, Virginia took their 1/3 away, called the National Capital. The most unpatriotic place on earth.
Is what? The Capitol?
The Capitol.
Like the U.S. Capitol?
Yeah, I mean, look, they sent Trump to drain the swamp. All he did was dump more water in the soup bowl of shit. I'm done. I got a political rant later. We'll try to keep it down to like 1 minute.
1 minute political rant. Coming your way, guys. All right, so we did not record last week. We took the week off. We went to the Atlanta NASCAR race over the weekend last weekend. And
it's probably the last good race we'll see.
Probably. And after that, we just didn't have time to get the show put together, so we just did our Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. But this is episode 8, which is cool because it's a day for the 8s. Because Race Car Spelled Backwards, we're going to be recording later today, will be episode 88. So we have episode 8 and episode 88. I thought it was pretty neat. So
just like Dale Jr.'s number.
88, doing it for Dale. We're doing it for Dale both. We have Dale 8 and Dale 88.
NBC ain't doing it for Dale, but that's
another show. We like Dale. So
it's another show.
We're doing it for Dale. We got number 8 here, number 88 next. But since we've recorded last, we've been to the Atlanta race. We had the moon lander we talked about on the show a couple weeks ago. It did make it to the surface of the moon. It kind of landed.
It finished
wobbly.
It finished last in the Xfinity race.
Well, it landed sideways when it landed on the moon. It got caught up on its leg and flipped over, but it did land and it was operational. But
just another scandal.
It is. It's fake. We didn't really land it on the moon anyway. It's probably
somebody took their.
It's probably over here in Trilith. It was not even a moon lander.
Didn't you have someone over at the studios ask for all the ashes out of your fire pit? And that's what it looks like, right?
Probably.
Put a little globe way off in the distance.
If you have AT&T, you were affected by losing your voice and text. Ain't talking or texting no more. That's all AT&T stands for.
It only affected 100,000 people?
Yeah, so
why did it affect me then?
It got you and it got some other guys we know.
From the moon lander? Is that what happened?
So they said it was a glitch in their system. It wasn't a cybersecurity attack that was originally reported on X, but
BS.
That it was you. So you think it was cybersecurity?
Yeah, the Ukrainian hackers, they busted in because we wouldn't give them any money. Welfare babies over there in Europe.
I don't think anybody in Europe did it. I think if it was.
Oh no, they hacked.
If it was the Ukrainians that did it, they probably came over through Mexico and opened up shop here because we have better internet and used our internet to hack our own infrastructure.
Sure, why not?
It makes more sense.
Losers.
Makes more sense to me. What else happened?
I don't know.
You got attacked by a bobcat.
Don't mess with nature.
Yeah, nature's it's a real deal.
I would it's for my OnlyFriends account though. I'm gonna take my shirt off and show the other cuts.
If you get on his
It looks like that.
Except all over his chest.
But with boobies.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, nor do I want to.
Slash boobies.
I have to subscribe to your OnlyFans account, I guess.
Friends, only friends.
Only friends.
I don't do porn.
Fans?
Porn's fans.
Friends is softcore.
We just
no wieners.
You can't see us touch ourselves.
There's no wiener. I show no wiener, people. It's only fan. It's only friends, not only fans.
Only friends is only from the neck up. We just go. Oh, that's all you get on OnlyFriends.
So if you want to see Jamie's Bobcat scars, so Jamie went to you were walking the dog, right?
Yep.
And apparently this Bobcat, Mama Bobcat, had killed a raccoon for her babies. Jamie didn't know about it.
Well, I saw the Bobcat, but I see it monthly. I'm like, oh, look, there's the Bobcats because I live in the middle of nowhere. So we see nature all the time. Next I was going to say, where's my little red box? It's time for him to cut through.
But he didn't.
Well, he might have. I was at home crying by then.
The fox was sitting at the edge of the woods
Laughing.
going, well, thank God it wasn't me this time.
Jeez. I told him not to take wildlife lightly.
Jamie's walking the dog, and all of a sudden this bobcat comes launching out of the
I was
woods.
doing my 2.5 mile walk.
He whooped it, man.
No, I saw.
You won, though.
No, I survived.
Well,
There's no winning.
I would call that a win. You're alive.
I saw out of the culvert, headed to the dead end of our road, I saw a cat puppet set up. And I was like, wow, that cat's got, it looks like a tiger. Cool.
And then it jumped.
Then I'm like, oh,
it's flying.
It's the bobcat. And then it started coming towards me, but it always runs off. I didn't know it had cubs and a kill that she was going to feed her cubs with. And Ripken goes, dropped his tail and took off. And I even turned back and I'm like, it's just going to run in the woods. But he Scooby-Dooed and went, ruh-roh. Went home.
Poor guy.
I turned around. The cat's closer. I'm like, wow. And it's 3 times the size of a regular cat. You know, cat's this tall. It's like that tall.
Yeah. I've never seen a bobcat in the wild.
It didn't even meow. It went straight out of like
hiss?
Rosemary's Baby. No hiss. Just all of a sudden started galloping. And I'm like, oh, shoot. But I didn't say that. And it jumped. Luckily, I played baseball through my 20s.
So does it growl? Does bobcats growl, hiss?
It was growling. Okay, so it was like fighting an octopus.
Yeah.
So
I've done that.
I was a catcher playing baseball.
Okay.
So I kind of
find a lot of octopuses in the catcher's mitt.
I bit my knees and went wham. And then it's going crazy. I mean, it's like 25 pounds. I don't know. It's just going nuts. I got 4 claws, a tail. Well, it wasn't really a tail. It was a nub. And it's just going nuts. And coming, it's coming. It's like right about here. And I got, and I'm like, oh, shit. I fell over backwards. Got a slight concussion. Landed on the pavement. Now I wish it was still a dirt road.
I'm not laughing. At your.
I'm just sitting there going, ah! It was a fight, dude. It was a battle.
I believe it.
And
you won.
Well,
you won.
I survived.
You would have died if you would have lost.
It wasn't until I finally took it. It screeched. I don't know if it was an anger screech or a let go of me screech. I finally got to it where it had slowed down and I threw it. Of course, like all cats, it landed on its paws.
And ran off.
At least I'm looking and I'm like, I was covered in blood.
Oh, I bet you were like, because I saw the picture of your clothes you sent, and they were shredded. Your shirt was destroyed.
It got me.
You didn't know it had got you at that point?
No, adrenaline had pretty much taken over.
So when Jamie told me about it the first time, he said the cat basically had his hand in its jaws, right? And you were just beating the crap out of it with your other hand?
I thought it was this hand in the jaws.
Yeah.
And DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, are like, well, your injuries are the opposite of your story. So I thought it was like this.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, you got clawed. And I have
bite marks.
The puncture wounds. Oh, there's one. Under the nail. There.
And
that. So apparently,
basically, he was biting your right hand while you were swatting him with your left,
protecting her,
or she,
whatever you call it. Warren.
Oh, I thought they were multigender.
Whatever it was. I mean, you never know when
Bob. You took Bob out.
You need to be ready to die at any time. I decided.
Yeah, I mean,
you just never know.
Yeah, if you don't know who Jesus is, you might want to look into that before you go on a walk, because any minute could be your minute.
Or if you worship Satan, you could go down and be burning your ass up. Whatever.
Yeah, but you got to be prepared for it, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus wasn't your maker.
Let me ask you this.
Jesus was your maker.
Let me ask you this. When you walk the dog now, will you do it unarmed?
Oh, no, I have a 1911 Colt 45.
I legit bought
We had a meeting that morning.
I legit bought a new gun holster the day this happened
Oh, I bought a Western style. It's belt.
I bought one for walking. So when me and my wife go out walking in the evening time, I can carry my gun now. I'm not going out unarmed. Like I learned a valuable lesson. We don't actually have bobcats where I live.
You could.
We could, yes.
You got woods.
We have coyotes. I know that.
They can attack rabies.
I mean, my wife thought she saw an armadillo. I mean, not an armadillo.
They have leprosy.
Well, she thought it was a bear or something. She thought she saw a
bear.
bear.
There's bears here.
I know we don't have a bear living between my neighbor's house.
I have seen where I live. There's just farmland.
An anteater. That's what my wife thought she saw. I know we don't have those.
Could have been
It was a raccoon. I saw.
Oh, okay.
I saw it later.
We have tons of raccoons, armadillos, possums.
Let's go ahead and let her.
Could have been a possum.
Jamie doesn't have rabies either.
It got 2 shots,
but
in preparation.
In case.
Yeah, it's negative.
But the results came back negative.
Right? Yeah. I don't know why we did and I remember as a kid.
Well, they do the rabies shots regardless, just in case before they.
Well, they did the first 2. Yeah. There's 6, but when I was a kid, my parents would say don't, because out in the country, or even the city, they're stray dogs. They're from a time like 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Don't mess with stray dogs. They have rabies. They didn't have the rabies shot back then. So, and they would tell me you get 20 shots in your belly. So I was like, holy crap. I always thought it was. I don't want 20 shots in the belly. And I said, hey, am I going to have to get 20 shots in the belly? And they said, oh, no, we do it in your arm now. And I was a little relieved.
It still hurt, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but when they gave me those 2 shots, I thought they were horns, but it looked like a baby penis coming out of the top of my head. Women for a while were like, that's interesting. I saw some women at Publix like, huh.
You got the rabies.
That's new.
Jamie got the rabies shot. And
vaccines, dude.
He grew a second penis on his forehead for 2 days.
It was actually tinier than my tiny man.
So you grew a tiny hammer.
It looked circumcised with a little hole in it. And it disappeared.
Thank God.
It never popped like a pussy pimple. I don't know what it was.
That would have looked horrible on the show today. Nobody wants to. Would that make you a dickhead?
Exactly. Make you a dickhead. Exactly.
Speaking of dickheads, let's jump right on into Florida Man behavior. So, St. Augustine, Florida was the host to the first ever Florida Man Games recently here in February. It's actually a week and a half ago. The events were as unexpected as the headlines that inspired them. The athletes are unconventionally talented. From wrestling in the mud to running from actual sheriff's deputies, sanity is optional.
I got a problem with this.
What?
I think the true Florida men can only be seen out in the wild.
Well,
these people are pretending.
They are. This isn't the real Florida man either. The Florida Man Games were inspired by the wild Florida Man stories. The ones in the wild.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. Like
a captured...
Kind of like a zoo.
A captured alligator isn't exciting as one you see out in the swamp.
Correct. Yeah. That's all this. I mean, it wasn't as excited, but I watched some of the events on YouTube. It was fairly entertaining. It was more entertaining than the NASCAR race, I'll tell you that. So they asked one of the contestants they kind of asked him what he thought about the event, and he said, I have absolute disregard for self-preservation. I will literally do anything to win. I mean, that's dedication right there, people. So some of the events.
That sounds like a bath salt Florida man type answer.
I think they should make you do meth before every event. Because I've yet to read many Florida man stories without meth involved. Of course, we don't know. They could have probably been doing meth before this.
I'm going to say something's a little political.
Okay.
But if you're burning books, why not burn Florida man?
Burn people?
Yeah.
I know what you want, I guess.
They did it in the Bible days.
Yeah, but that was witches.
They did it in America, too, in Salem, West Virginia.
Yeah.
No, that was Salem, Massachusetts.
What was Salem?
Well, it might have been Salem,
Alabama.
West Virginia, too. Is there a Salem, Alabama?
It's a Selma, but it's spelled similar. Selma.
By someone from Alabama?
Yeah.
They meant to call it Salem, but they called it Selma.
It's actually Salem, Alabama, but...
A dyslexic.
Yeah, a dyslexic.
Like myself.
A dyslexic redneck back in the 1800s goes, Selma!
Drinking too much moonshine.
Yeah, that's how it became Selma. It's just like...
Salima!
It's just like Utah, which is spelled Etowah, but it's pronounced Utah. So... I think it's just Alabama rednecks.
I would call it Utah.
It's pronounced Utah, as in a U, but it's...
Remember Johnny Utah?
Ottawa. Johnny Utah.
He was the character
Yes.
in Point Break.
Yes.
Johnny Utah.
I remember. The Dead Presidents.
My favorite actor.
My favorite heroes. The Dead Presidents.
Yeah, they were.
Awesome Surfers.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
The remake wasn't as good.
I didn't mind the remake, no. I kind of enjoyed it.
It
was a one and done.
My boy wasn't in it. He's getting too old.
I'm with you. I agree with you.
I mean, 100%. I watched it, but it was not. It
wasn't the first one.
I wanted a remake.
It wasn't
they changed the script.
You can remake something that good though. Days of Thunder will never be remade. Even if they do a second one, it's going to suck.
Oh, it's getting worse and worse. I mean,
but
Keanu moved on.
That's what I'm saying. Like Point Break, the first one was excellent. The second one wasn't bad as a standalone movie. It wasn't a good follow-up, but it wasn't. It was modernized. It was entertaining. I enjoyed watching it one time. I'll probably never watch it again. But it wasn't a horrible movie.
You know what? Did I ever tell you I met Keanu?
Did you?
In real life? He is so un-Hollywood.
Really?
He's kind of, I don't know, meek is the wrong word. I don't know. Non-assuming. He doesn't have that attitude like, oh, famous. Like,
he don't have the ego.
Right.
That's cool.
Super nice guy.
That's cool. You think he was at the Florida Man games?
I don't think that's his thing. He's really into motorcycles.
Well, they didn't have motorcycles.
I think he makes his own custom motorcycles.
They didn't have motorcycles at the Florida Man game, but the events that they did have, Jamie. Event number 1 was Eat the Butt Challenge.
Was it a real butt or a pig butt?
It is where competitors must finish their pork butt platter in the fastest time possible. Whoever eats their pork butt the fastest.
So basically an Italian meal.
Pretty much. Pork butt's Italian?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was redneck.
You ever buy that stuff supposed to be octopus and fried?
No.
Yeah, you have.
That's just,
calamari?
That's just pork anus.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what they were eating. Pork anus, right?
No, they were
eating pork butt.
That would have been more accurate, I guess.
Was it breaded and fried?
I don't know. I didn't have any myself.
I mean, for those of you out there that don't really know Italian food, if you're not like at a legit Italian restaurant, you're eating pig anus.
Pork anus.
Fried.
Yep, fried anus.
90% of the time.
I mean, if you like fried anus and that's your thing, go right ahead.
Do you think they can clean all the doo-doo out of it?
Can you have grilled anus?
Sure, why not? It's probably healthier.
Fried chicken, grilled chicken. Let they grill anus.
Sure.
Isn't it chitlins?
That's butthole.
Isn't that all calamari is then? Is chitlins?
Battered and fried chitlins.
So if you're eating calamari,
well, it depends.
But not
if you're at one of these chain restaurants, yeah, that's what you're eating. If you're like a legit Italian restaurant, you're eating sliced up octopus.
I just don't eat it at all.
It's good.
You never.
I like it, but I won't do it at a chain.
Can you tell a difference in the taste?
I don't think so.
I'd have to try them neck and neck, but. So that was event number 1. Event number 2 is called the Pool Noodle Mud Duel. In an above-ground pool, people will joust each other with pool noodles and beat the crap out of each other with a pool noodle.
That sounds too clean. Shouldn't they have just dug a hole and filled it with swamp water?
Probably. The second event was evading arrest obstacle courses, where they jump over fences, run through backyards, and are actually running away from actual sheriff's deputies during this event.
That's good.
I think it's good, but wouldn't it be more embarrassing for the police officers? I mean, look.
I think a police drone. Let's get modern.
No offense to police officers, but most of them don't look the most athletic.
Did you see? I saw a guy at the race. We're leaving last week.
Was he athletic?
He was 600 pounds, dude.
And he was an officer.
Oh, he was standing there at the county tent.
They're not going to chase. Like, if you have a 600-pound sheriff's deputy running from a meth head, I don't think he's going to catch him. I'm just saying. They
need to have, like over the weekend.
You have meth
They were in Indianapolis, and they had all the prospects for the I call it Columbine, but it's Combine.
Yeah.
Where they have to do these things. Yeah. I would think once a year.
The police should.
The police, I don't think a lot of them could do 50-yard dash, but let's do the 40 like they do in football, and you should be able to complete it in 1 minute.
You throw that eat the butt challenge pork plate at the end of the finish line. I bet that 50-yard dash, they run a little faster.
Or have a dozen Krispy Kremes.
I guarantee you they run faster then.
I know where the guy was. Did you see the 600-pound deputy with the bomb robot?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Working the hospitality tent thing.
Yeah, with his belly just hanging over.
I even told my son, I said, see, they let the big dudes work the robots because he ain't chasing nobody.
Ain't chasing nothing.
He ain't even getting in a car.
He'd have a heart attack if you were 10 feet away with a donut.
Yeah, he was a sheriff's deputy that had to ride in the back of a pickup truck to the event.
You know what I think his daddy's name was?
What?
Sheriff.
Yeah. Probably.
There's no way he got in on his own.
The next event is the Category 5 cash grab, where contestants stand in a glass box with money, dollar bills blowing around in high winds. This is supposed to simulate looting during a hurricane. Then we have a Cadillac converter handful of copper pipes bike race where two competitors go head-to-head against each other riding a bicycle while toting a handful of copper pipes and a Cadillac converter. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That is the most Florida man thing I've ever heard. So
they should have had them have a bag of already eaten food laying on the sidewalk.
That's in their pocket. Then they had the Florida Man Sumo Mud Wrestling competition where you wrestle over beer. Each contestant puts on an inner tube around their waist and goes towards each other wrestling while in a circle ring, trying to knock the other one out of the ring or spill their pitcher of beer.
I think I got an improvement on that too.
Beer wrestling.
It is in Florida.
Yeah.
So it should be half drank beer, warm, and you have to be good enough. There's some that are half full of piss.
I think you have to do it with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth too.
Yes. Drink it with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth without any slippage.
And you can't touch the cigarette.
No.
And if it burns your beard, you lose.
Yeah.
Crazy. They also had other entertainment there, including, this is all from their website, including the mullet contest. The Florida Ma'am pinup girls were there.
Jeez.
They had chicken coop bingo, where two chickens actually went out and picked the numbers to see if you were a bingo winner or not. Then they had the 911 fight night, where the police and the firefighters brawled it out. They also
they're just Florida people with badges.
That's
so
it.
It makes sense.
Then they had SWAT vehicles on display, so if you'd like to see your future ride. They had barbecue, I'm assuming pork butt plates. And they had alligator shows, including selfies with alligators.
Hey, I was bored.
I don't think this has anything to do with the kind of alligator shows we talked about last time on the podcast, but I think these are.
Well, I was bored waiting for Hamilton to start Saturday night.
Yeah.
I was watching these dumb selfie videos on YouTube. There's a lady with an alligator with his head resting on a pond in Florida trying to take a selfie, and the alligator decides to go after her.
That's awesome.
She saw it on the camera, and she dropped the phone and just went, "Ah!"
That's like instant karma. Like, I love it. I love when you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes. Like, it's basic math, people.
Like, her stupid prize was you got to spend another $1,200 on a new iPhone.
Correct. If you're dumb enough to try to take a selfie with an animal that God created to eat you, then you deserve to lose your cell phone. And I think you should be banned from social media.
For being stupid?
Yeah, but
But I want to watch those videos.
Honestly, like, stupid people are ruining this place. Like, the stupid things they do has become normal.
Oh, one of the dudes on the video had a gun.
Yeah.
Got his girlfriend to shoot him with a homemade bulletproof vest that did not work.
Did you see the lady in Gwinnett County in Georgia here driving down the highway and her son pops his head out of the trunk? You see that?
No, I didn't see that
Yeah,
one.
it went viral and it wasn't from her. She claimed, there's a whole article of her saying why it was okay. She didn't mean to do it, but you're driving down the road and your kid pops his head out of the trunk on the expressway, you're going to jail. Or you should be.
Jay wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Well, he was like 3, dude.
Oh, she threw him in there.
Yeah. Like, because you can see she had like a basket in there, like an upside down shower seat or something. She probably just accidentally like, oh, there's my kid in the.
She didn't want her boo to know she had a baby.
Yeah, she was on the way to a date.
Yeah,
didn't want anybody knowing that she
didn't have a babysitter.
So,
and baby daddy, he was too busy driving his.
Yeah, he wasn't there. So.
Race car down 285, racing people.
Yeah, so it's just a bad situation. All right. Well,
Then were they originally from Florida? Sounds like it.
This next story is from Florida. Actually, it's from Alabama.
I mean, the lady with her 3-year-old popping her head out of the car. They have Florida tags?
No, it's Georgia tags, but I'm sure her bloodline started in Florida.
Sounds like it.
Have to. I mean, there's no way it didn't, right? Or she drank the Florida water. Something happened.
Swamp water, unfiltered.
So, 2 adults dressed as comic book superheroes from Alabama were arrested in connection with the abduction of a teenage girl who was brought across state lines into Florida. So I'm thinking these 2 guys, or it's a guy and a girl, they dressed up as superheroes and they're like, where can we do some stupid stuff at today? Alabama, we could probably do it here, but I think it'd be better if we go to Florida. So they kidnapped a girl, took her to Florida, beat the crap out of her, tied her up, and left her.
They should at least taken her back home. She's not from Florida. She would have been confused.
Well, deputies responded to a call about a possible kidnapping or abduction where they found the girl with her hands bound behind her back. The girl told police that she was abducted in Alabama and taken to an abandoned building in Florida where the 2 superheroes beat her before dropping her off under a tree where she was found by police. One kidnapper was dressed in a costume with a black bathing suit.
That's all he had.
Purple wig.
That was the only
a
clothes
cape,
he had.
And cowboy boots in an effort to mimic the costume of DC Comics character Raven, a member of the Teen Titans.
My kids like that. I watched it with them.
I think if I was going to mimic a comic book character, I would have done a better job. I saw a picture of this lady. She was overweight.
You know, my children are so old. We had TiVo to record their kids' shows.
That's old. That's old, man. You're ancient, dude.
Yeah, that's like 2000 to 2000. That's double knot days.
Dude, yeah, that's almost
2009.
That's almost the dial phone that went. Remember?
Imagine we're making fun of TiVo.
I know, it's funny. I don't know that we ever had TiVo. We had Dish Network.
We got it is when it first came out in the late 90s and kept it.
Well, we had Dish Network and they had their own version of TiVo. So, I guess we technically had it, but we didn't have it.
We got rid of it when Netflix started streaming because you can't record streaming. But, you know, they had files. You didn't need to record anymore.
I'm about to say you don't need to record streaming.
Right. So we got rid of it.
Do you remember Netflix on disc?
Yes. When my oldest was a we would get like Blue's Clues videos for him. Well,
because you get 2 at a time.
Yeah, we got movies we watched too.
We would do series like we watched that show Weeds. Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I loved Weeds.
I did too. So we did that on disc, Netflix disc. We watched Weeds. That was the first thing I ever watched on Netflix.
Actually, that's something I should start over.
I've been thinking about rewatching that. It was a good show. So, but yeah, the kidnappers claim that they were superheroes. Back to the superhero story we're talking about from Alabama. Kidnappers claimed that they were actual superheroes fighting the darkness of the criminal underbelly, so they took the supervillain off the street.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking the cray. All right, one more Florida
Definitely Florida.
One more Florida man story, and for this one, we're going to leave the country. Race Car Spelled Backwards is a show for anyone who needs a good laugh. Join Jamie and Brad each week as they talk sports, racing, NASCAR, and just about any other thing. Race Car Spelled Backwards can be found on YouTube or any other major podcast platform. We're going to go to Poland. A 19-year-old Polish man is facing up to 5 years in prison for stealing a horse and trying to hide it in his third-floor apartment building. Why would you?
Doesn't make any sense.
Like, they have Florida men in other countries, people. They definitely
Can
do.
you really hide a horse in an apartment building?
So, police officers responded to
They can smell the poop.
About a man trying to lead a horse to the upper floors of his apartment building. Police actually thought it was a prank. When the police went out, they reluctantly sent a crew out to investigate, but they were shocked to find that there was actually indeed a full-grown horse being led to the upper floors of the apartment building. They legit saw this dude leading the horse up the last flight of stairs into his apartment building. Officers quickly learned that the man with the horse in his third-floor apartment building had actually stolen the animal and was trying to conceal it.
That's weird.
That's just stupid.
He's from Florida, though.
Like, why would you steal a horse if you lived in an apartment? It's a $3,800 animal. He steals this horse, and he takes it to
Is that $3,800 in EU money?
It's US. I've already done the conversions in my head.
All right.
Like, I read the article. I'm like, he's using pounds. No, he's using...
That'd be EU dollars.
Denali's.
Cadillacs? Or no, that's GMC. Denali's.
So, police were able to get the horse back out of the apartment building and back to its owner unharmed. The horse was unharmed. The 19-year-old man is now behind bars and will spend the next 2 to 5 years in prison. It's insane.
Why are they on a mission trip to LA?
Oh, yeah. I want to give a shout out to the men. A bunch of men from our church are on a men's mission trip in LA right now. They went to the prisons in LA.
I'm sorry. I did that once at my church.
Did you?
Went to prison ministry.
So just shout out to Chris, Kurt, and all the guys on the Saints mission trip this week.
Yeah, it takes a special heart to do that, because I did it once and said, you know what? This ain't for me.
I didn't feel the calling. Like, they asked me if I wanted to go, and I didn't feel the calling to go to jail.
No, those people are weird.
Yeah.
Actually, when they were having the service in the common room, or whatever you want to call it, people came to our mission trip to prison, to do strange things to each other. Well, I wouldn't say strange. It's not strange now, but this was like 20 years ago. They came to have relationships in the bathroom.
Oh,
yeah. And then they cut our visit short because the prison guards went in and caught them.
So y'all didn't get to do all your mission work.
Well, I had to pee. I had to pee, and I was like, I'm holding it.
I don't blame you.
Oh, I'll piss my pants. But
you didn't take a shower, did you?
Afterwards.
Like at the prison?
No.
Just making sure.
I've only been in county lockup, dude. For drunk and disorderly in Daytona. That's about it.
That's a great story.
It didn't even go to, didn't even go on my permanent record.
Do you still have your mugshot?
Unfortunately, they weren't online.
Oh, man.
And I didn't offer to buy it.
I think I got a buddy of mine, McBee. He got his mugshot. You can find it online still, so you might want to check that out. You might want to check
They might not have,
McBee, so
they might not have done it because I wasn't 18 yet. It was my freshman year in college.
So maybe that's why they didn't put it online.
Yeah, they did still hold me overnight.
We should Google it.
Called my dad, and he said...
We should be able to find it.
They called my dad, and he said, you know what? He went down with his friends. They can get the $50 to get him out. Or he can spend the night. It was $50 or 24 hours or $50.
They got you.
But we didn't have cell phones back then. My friends thought I got lucky. There were some guys winking at me in the holding cell. I almost got lucky.
You almost got lucky.
Lucky was getting out 24 hours. Actually, they just held me till like 12 o'clock the next day.
Let you out?
Yeah.
They were done with it?
They're like, kid.
We got this naked kid in here. We're going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Were you naked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was fashionable back then. Orange was the new black.
Orange was the new black. That's awesome.
My clothes were missing. I may have gotten lucky. I don't know. They said the police jumped on me.
So the police might have got lucky with you.
Yeah.
You never know, man. You never know.
Could have been accidental insertion.
All right, let's jump into your 1 minute political rant. You have 1 minute.
1 minute. That's it. You ready?
Right. Hang on. Let's get this.
You want to go all the way to
I'm easy 45.
All right.
Go.
Our politicians are not out for America. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm not voting. They both parties suck. They represent themselves and enrich themselves. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to do it. There you go. Democrats, Republicans. This is the mess you created. Wake up.
You got 40 seconds, dude.
I'm done.
What? You can't even rant for a minute? You ran for 20 minutes before we started.
Yeah, but I used words I can't use on this.
So, Jamie and Brandon are going to join us, and we're going to start our new political podcast called The Fraud. We got to talk. We got to get.
Do I need to bring Dave's new mixer so we can put them on?
We'll just do it. Yeah, we can do that. We'll do audio only.
Well, yeah, we can Bluetooth it.
Or
it's got a Bluetooth outlet.
Just do it with Zoom. We'll figure it out. Yeah, but either way, we're going to start a new podcast called The Fraud. I will do color comment. No, I will do play-by-play commentary while Jamie. Oh no,
let's be American Fraud.
American Fraud.
Politics in America.
Okay.
That's the subtitle.
American Fraud.
And it's going to be rated.
If it hasn't been taken.
Immature for language.
Because Jamie and Brandon have language they like to use. To emphasize your point, right?
Like, yeah. We'll never be picked up by mainstream media.
Oh, that's a fact.
We don't want. Maybe
I don't want to be part of mainstream media. Mainstream media is nothing but a bunch of lying crooks.
Just like our politicians.
Just like our mainstream media is.
They're in bed with them.
Basically, mainstream media is nothing but PR for politicians.
Think about it, though. Who's their customers? After drugs, during a political cycle, their biggest customer are politicians. They can't afford to tell the truth.
No. Because of where they get their money from.
And was it since Johnson, I think? No, it wasn't Johnson. It was Clinton. You do not have to be non-biased in news anymore. You don't have to give equal time to another politician.
They don't.
And once again, I'm going to suggest this. The people in control for us to have term limits to make it better are the ones that decide on term limits. Yeah, they ain't going to do it.
No, guarantee they're not going to do it.
They'd rather die in office at 99 years old.
100% agree.
Drooling on their mama's picture.
100% agree
saying,
with that.
Mama was around for the War of Independence.
All right, well, that's your political rant.
There you go.
I've given you your minute, so. All right, let's jump into weekly headlines from the last 2 weeks. The United States has warned Russia not to deploy a nuclear weapon into space, noting it would violate the 1967 treaty that bars weapons of mass destruction in space. Any nuclear weapon detonated in space would release a large burst of gamma radiation.
Oh no, this is bringing back another political rant. We have had pansy-ass presidents for the last 20 years. The last two are so self-involved, they've allowed these morons to threaten us. And you know what? I'm going to say what Reagan said in Iceland and Reykjavik.
What did he say?
He said, screw you guys. I'll just hit the button. And he left. And guess what they said? The Russians said, holy crap, that dude's nuts. Yeah. Well, we need someone with big kahunas.
So,
or a woman with big, what would you call those? Big titties?
Big kahunas.
Big. Yeah. It's a figment of speech. It's a metaphor. So
metaphor. That's what.
Yeah, that's a metaphor. Yeah. Figment of speech. It's a fig tree is what it is.
It's a Figment was that little character at the Disney. Remember Figment?
Hey.
Philemon, maybe that was his name.
I would take a trans with big kahunas.
Brandon knows.
Just you know what? You want to stop them? Give them what they're given.
So if a nuclear weapon is detonated in outer space, this could destroy over 7,000 satellites that are currently in operation and critical to a range of systems, including our GPS, phones, internets, financial systems, space surveillance, and missile defense.
Okay.
It's like an EMP attack. Like, basically, if Russia puts this nuke in space, you better start leaving your cell phones in the microwave or you ain't going to have your cell phones no more.
It don't matter.
Nah, they're going to do it.
As long as my bullets discharge from my weapons, I'm okay.
That's right. That's all we need. All right. Another issue that we've got, considering the toilet, the humble porcelain bowl that disposes of our waste several times a day, it's not a piece of technology that often gets flashy updates. But is it time to update the toilet, Jamie?
No.
Toilets are in desperate need of an update, as our entire approach to sewage has evolved. According to experts, flushing our waste is actually wasteful and accounts for nearly a third of indoor water use in U.S. homes.
Let me tell you what this is really saying. Your tax money's being wasted by your municipalities. They don't want to clean up your shit, even though they charge you to clean up your shit. They would rather give it to people that'll give it back to them. Thank you.
Amen. Researchers say we need to rethink how we deal with waste, and this may also present us with an opportunity saying our waste can be converted into renewable heat, electricity, and fertilizer.
It already is. It's called...
Yeah, they do it at the sewage plant.
Yeah. And they've done it in Japan and China forever, and Vietnam.
So one of the alternatives that they suggest is using a dry composting toilet. I didn't know a whole lot about dry composting toilets until me and my wife started watching this show, Building Off the Grid, about 6 months to a year ago. So these toilets...
It's called an outhouse, Brad.
Well, not an outhouse. This is a composting toilet. There's a difference between an outhouse.
No, that shit in the hole, compost.
Well, when I think of an outhouse, I'm thinking of the blue things that they deliver, the porta johns.
No, I can show you one up in Maine I got.
So
it's functional.
A compost toilet utilizes dry peat and sawdust to cover the waste and help break it down. These are popular options for people living off the grid where sewage and water is limited.
Lime.
Yeah, you can use lime, sawdust, peat, moss. All you do is you just use the bathroom, cover it with your dry, and it helps break it down. And you vent it so it doesn't stink as bad in there. I mean,
you know what the problem is here?
What?
They're not reading their Bible. God told Adam, he goes, look, I made all these creatures. You're to lord over them and name them. We're allowing the earth to lord over us. God made it for us.
Yeah.
Well, just saying.
An international team from the United States, Europe, and China have uncovered the fossils of a 240 million-year-old dragon in southwest China.
Sure, why not?
The nearly 17-foot-long aquatic reptile, dubbed the Chinese dragon, features flippers and what is described as an unusually long neck that stretches at least 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
This whole animal resembles the snake-like dragons that are found throughout Chinese mythology.
Sure, why not?
This species was first discovered in 2003 when a skull and 3 cervical vertebrae were uncovered from limestone deposits in China.
Makes sense.
China has been home to the discovery of several other species from the Jurassic period. The Bible doesn't talk about dinosaurs, but it does mention dragons, Jamie.
I don't think dinosaurs was a word for them.
So they just said dragons?
Well, if you see it every day.
So you think dragons?
I see cows every day. I don't notice if one's missing.
That's true. So do you believe in dragons?
I believe in dinosaurs, but
I know you believe in dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were created to prove evolution, though. Just my opinion, which I'm allowed.
I mean, you're allowed your opinion.
We don't even have to agree.
I have found fossils.
It's a hell of a thing.
I mean,
fossils of dragons?
No,
dinosaurs.
Sure.
I could go out into the cemetery over here off the street, dig up 7 people, put their bones together, and claim I found a dinosaur.
Sure, you can.
All I need is a dog skull to put on top of them.
I'm telling you what I found.
What'd you find? Tell me.
Found little amoebas in a rock.
What are amoebas?
Fossils. They could have been. Who knows?
Doesn't prove dinosaurs are real.
To be honest with you, since there's no dinosaurs here, I really don't care.
It doesn't matter anymore. So I look at this discovery of the dragon as a distraction. This is them trying to distract us with something great, like a dragon. It's kind of like UFOs.
So until they find
bad happens,
a living,
they're like, "Hey guys, there's UFOs coming in."
Until they find a living dragon,
you don't care.
No, I mean I enjoy watching Finding Bigfoot, but until they capture a living one, what do I care? Look, I'm gonna go hunt for Bigfoot.
I'm starting to agree with Bigfoot. Bigfoot doesn't want to be seen because he doesn't like being around a lot of people because he doesn't like people. Maybe we just leave the man alone. What
if we get an obnoxious Bigfoot that wants to go on world tour with Taylor Swift?
Yeah, that would be bad.
I don't know. It could be good.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he can learn how to play the saxophone.
So, Germany Parliament has backed a new law to allow recreational use of cannabis across Germany. Under the new law, people over 18 years old in Germany would be allowed to possess up to 25 grams in public, which is almost an ounce. 26 grams makes an ounce. And up to 50 grams privately at their home.
No, you know what? They're probably already doing it. So
they're
just legitimating.
Yeah.
That's a whole new word, legitimating.
They're just taxing it.
Legitimizing.
So smoking cannabis in many public spaces will become legal on April 1st. Police in most parts of Germany have turned a blind eye to smoking in public for years now.
So Germany's now become more progressive than America when it comes to looking at cannabis.
The new law will undermine the black market, protect smokers from contaminated cannabis, and cut revenue streams for organized crime. This is the same exact reason why we need to federally legalize it in America. But we can't federally legalize
it. Biden promised that he would, but
look,
I think
Biden is not going to legalize marijuana in America because he is working for the illegal organizations. He is working for the criminal underbelly of this country. Biden is in the pocket. These politicians cannot afford to legalize cannabis because they're in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies, the paper companies, and the cartels out of Mexico.
Hey,
I firmly believe
I'm going to throw something in.
What else you got?
Ditto for the other party.
What do you mean?
Everything you just said about Biden, ditto for the other guys.
Oh, I said politicians.
They're all of them.
And not just Biden. This is... If they were
all of them.
Look, we have legal drugs. You can take chlorine and eat the crap if you want to, but we have plants that God gave us that have medicinal purposes.
But they can't charge
but
you.
we can't use these plants that are free because, like Jamie said, they can't tax us. They can't charge us.
They can't prescribe it.
They can't make money off of it.
There's no deductible.
Pharmacies and pharmaceutical companies hate cannabis. The paper companies hate cannabis.
Why? They make the paper you roll it with.
Hemp makes better paper, and you can grow hemp plants faster than trees.
Just ask George Washington. Sorry.
But the paper mill companies, the tree companies, they hate hemp. So they pay the politicians not to legalize it federally.
You know what they passed out to Confederate military?
Weed.
Because their fear went away. They were more like, dude, shoot the guy out of there, man.
So this new law in Germany, cannabis in Germany will be sold through membership clubs limited to 500 members per club and only available to residents of Germany.
Hey, that's smart.
I agree.
Because once you hit 501, you need to start a new club.
Correct. That's what they're doing. This is how they keep track of it. So residents will also be allowed to grow up to three plants at a time in their residence for personal use. I'm all for it, man. I think it's great. I think Germany is doing what they need to do.
Well, you know what's crazy?
They're ending the war on drugs that was built by American politicians to make money.
Don't forget who in Germany. Bayer was involved banning it in Germany.
Look, it's an outdated law. That's all I know. It needs to be corrected. Like I said,
let's go back to grandma.
We're talking about cannabis. We can talk about there's mushrooms out there that are illegal that have
It's helping military people after they've been deployed into war. They're microdosing mushrooms, and it's helping them get over PTSD.
So I get these headaches called cluster migraines. They come on every couple of years. They last for about a month. Jamie actually got to witness them this year or last year.
It's a mess.
The number one treatment for cluster migraines is microdosing mushrooms. It's been used in other countries in Europe. Switzerland is where it started at.
We got pastures around
like
with cows.
That, dude. Like that. It's supposed to help. And
I'll let you hop the fence and go pick you some. It grows naturally in the doo-doo.
I've done that. It's been a long time ago, but I don't want to get shot at.
Do you know how
you won't shoot me.
I won't shoot you.
I don't know how microdosing works. So I would actually... That's one of those where if it was legalized medicinally...
You would have to figure out what was your microdose.
Exactly.
You'd have to take a week off of work.
Or a month.
Well, it all depends on how when you come back.
I started with 12. It was too much.
Hey, boss, I can still see colors. Stay home. Take another day.
Luckily, mushrooms, the visuals you get from mushrooms are more... They're not like... You're not watching a zebra drive a truck down the street. So
I guess it's still a macro dose, dude. Shoot.
That's one of those situations where I wish they would legalize this stuff. So you've got doctors. You also have
weekends where you're not working.
We have natural remedy doctors who do nothing but prescribe natural herbs and remedies. They would be able to prescribe a microdose to you. They could say you need to take...
Yeah, they're called shamans.
No, I can't think of what...
Yeah, shamans. Witch doctors.
There's another word.
Naturalists.
For these natural doctors, and I just cannot think of it at
Hippies.
the moment. No. My mom went to one of these doctors years ago, and they helped her get on natural remedies versus what you get at the doctor.
Well, Grandma, when you get a cold...
what it's called.
Grandma, when you get a cold, my grandma, probably yours too. Southern, whiskey. Yeah, my mom's side. It was, she didn't believe in drinking, but she had whiskey, honey, cinnamon, and lemon juice, and she called it a hot toddy. Do you know what's better than any NyQuil you can get? If you look at the back of NyQuil, you got so many chemicals in that.
But why would you take NyQuil after the FDA just came out and said that there is not an over-the-counter cough medicine that actually works? They admitted NyQuil has never really worked.
So Robitussin doesn't work either.
Robitussin doesn't work either. None of them work.
Grandma was right.
She
was old as dirt.
And she was right. I got rid of my grandmother or my grandfather took me down the woods with a tree and a dog to get rid of my asthma. So,
do you know my grandmother?
Natural remedies work, people. That's what we're going after here.
My grandmother won a Charleston contest in the 1920s.
What's that?
I don't know. It's a dance of some sort.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It was a big deal in the 20s.
Yeah, it was the moon. They would make the moon shine, and they'd have the underground bars, and they'd do the Charleston dance.
Once she went on top of a water tower in town
and dance naked?
And did the Charleston. She was a wild child.
She had clothes on?
She always
I think
did
a lot
when
of times
saw
when you
her.
dance on the water tower, you're naked.
I think she was a flapper. That's what they called them. No, they wore short hair. And
I don't know what a flapper is.
I don't know either.
That's your grandma we're talking about here. All right, Jamie, let's jump into the Ask Cannonball. What did people want to ask us this week, my friend?
Dear Cannonball idiots. They kind of went low.
That's us. We are the Cannonball Run idiots right here. 44 hours, 3 minutes. These two idiots did it. And I'm trying to talk this guy into doing it again.
While the world has moved on from COVID, my spouse insists on a family life and near lockdown. None of us are high risk, but he's concerned about the chance of getting long COVID and the unknown effects of repeated infections. Well, we've had these infections before they named it COVID, people.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion. We don't go to restaurants or fly. My young kids have no group extracurriculars. They don't go into grocery stores, to libraries, or birthday parties. They're only at school after 3 years of homeschooling because we had no other options for childcare. Well, go ahead, ask. Is my husband an idiot? Yeah,
yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think your husband's an idiot.
If your kids are going to a classroom with kids in it and they have assemblies and basketball games, PE, guess what? You're getting it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all going to be exposed to it. I'm sure Jamie was exposed to it at Hamilton. I was exposed to it Friday night.
There's a few thousand people at Hamilton.
And we went Friday night to the Escape to the Chateau live event here in Atlanta. I'm sure there's somebody.
My wife made friends with a total stranger sitting next to her, so
with COVID.
She probably had it.
Probably. I mean, y'all were in New York, so COVID runs rampant in New York.
Here, this is really gross.
Oh, God.
So at intermission,
you had to poop?
I thought.
Oh, okay.
I thought I had to. Everybody around me from like 50 yards had decided to go get candy and drinks.
To also.
And they have cocktails and stuff too, but they all took off, including my family. So I looked to my left, I looked to my right, looked ahead. I looked over my shoulder to my right. Didn't see anybody within 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd come to the determination that it was not poop.
Yeah.
And I went, then it had like, it reverberated, like smaller little. I was right, it was not poo.
Thank God, because you would have felt really bad if you'd have crapped yourself right there in New York City.
But there was this young girl right behind me. I mean, exactly behind me.
You didn't see
that
her.
I didn't see when I went left or
short.
right. She laughed.
She probably started gagging right there.
And then she said, "You're lucky it wasn't poop." I said, "You're right."
Sounded like it.
Here's the problem. I don't know if it's high altitude. Our friend Brandon sees in the airplanes or whatever that caused it that day. Altitude changes.
All right, Brandon, we're going to need you to shoot us a text and let us know if flying in an airplane makes Jamie gassy.
Leaving the theater and all the way to the hotel, it's like every step there's a little. I never pooped that night. It was just air.
Thank God.
I did have peanuts. Do you think that caused it with changes altitude?
I think it probably had more to do with the altitude. What airline did you fly? Because that could affect you too.
Southwest.
There it is.
Their peanuts.
It's the air.
It.
I think it's the air on the plane.
They have free Wi-Fi though. That's why I like them. My wife hates them, but that free Wi-Fi thing,
it gets you every time.
Yeah.
Jamie's a sucker for free.
Well, you just have to deal with the cattle call.
So let's back to this lady.
So I didn't poop my pants.
Her only question is my husband an idiot? Yes, your husband's an idiot.
Yes.
Live your life, lady.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your husband to listen to this show and live his life. He never has the opportunity or the chance to end up as a Florida man on our episode if he doesn't leave his house. Like that should be enough encouragement.
I guarantee you, because Florida and Georgia, to about 90% of Florida when it came to COVID, decided that our economy was more important than COVID.
Amen.
I don't think he could visit Georgia or Florida.
No, definitely not.
He would lose his crap.
Where do you think he lives at? What state? I'm going with...
I'm going New York City.
You think?
Massachusetts, Boston they were worse than New York. They were like total lockdown.
I'm going to go with Oregon.
Remember when we did our Cannonball Run?
Or Washington.
It could be that too.
Or Northern California.
Or Chicago.
Or Southern California.
Illinois.
It could be the West Coast.
When we were on the Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Remember, we had to put masks going inside.
We did, which was so
Even
stupid.
our restaurant, once we sat down.
Take it off.
Oh.
Jamie went to the Murray Hill Diner.
Rosalina said hello.
Yeah, that is. Rosalina, we love you.
Her last name's Montero, by the way. She's from, her family, she's Dominican from the Bronx, as we were told a year ago.
Worked on the farm in the Bronx.
Yeah, that which did make any sense.
Well, we don't know what a Bronx farm looks like.
Anyway. It could just be a patch of land.
Yeah, it could just
behind
be
your townhouse.
2 plants in her living room.
Marijuana plant.
Could
be. But anyway.
Maybe she grew up on a marijuana farm in New York.
I thought she was confused.
But she remembered?
We were in her section. She goes, hey, you were here a while ago. And my wife was confused. And I was like, that's Ben. And I'm doing the math because my wife and I flew up after that to do Hamilton, just the two of us, but we didn't go there. So,
It's been a year.
But I suggest, and she's like, no, where's your little friend? And I'm even more confused. And she goes, didn't you do that cannonball thingy? And I'm like, oh no, she remembers.
That is awesome.
And I said, he's only about 1 inch to 2 inches shorter than me. He's probably what you would call average here in the U.S.
Average. Thank you, Jan.
She goes, well,
I take that as a compliment.
That's not how I imagine it. I said, well.
She needs a picture.
I'm wider. I mean, maybe, I took up more of the booth but no, she said
that is awesome.
She said maybe you and your family should come up and see Hamilton.
Probably not.
And have a meal at Murray Hill.
No, I mean, I want
Murray Hill is great, dude. Even the second time.
I'm thinking when we do the Cannonball Run again, we'll go to Murray Hill.
I'm not going to do it.
All right, who else? Somebody else.
We need a newer modern car that's way faster.
We'll do it in the Porsche.
We need a newer Porsche.
Okay, go get us one.
I'm thinking about it.
When you buy your wife her new Porsche, we can take it.
We have Friday in the middle of the rain after I took my customer out to dinner.
Yeah.
I went and test drove a
I forgot you told me you were doing
Porsche Cayenne.
Liked it?
Full-time four-wheel drive, that 4.8 V8. Yeah. It's awesome in the rain.
I drove one in the rain too on my sim rig I have in the living room. All right, somebody else wrote us a question.
Yes, she called us Dear CB44. What can I do? My husband is a fair bit older than I am.
Is he an idiot too?
Before we met, he didn't expect to get married, so he made a will, leaving his house and his entire estate to his sister. The house is now our home, and I am happy to report that things are going swimmingly. It sounds like they're British.
Yeah.
We had a baby last year. I never worried about his will before our daughter was born, but now I'm afraid if something happens to my husband, my daughter and I will be left homeless. I've raised the subject with him a few times. He agrees that his will should be updated, but it never seems to happen. Obviously, this is a sensitive issue. Any advice?
So, what I would do is...
The Bible does tell you to take care of your children.
Yeah, what I would do is I would set up the appointment. Like, look, lady, this is what you got to understand about men. We have a lot of good intentions, but, we focus on things.
Apparently he owns his own home.
We focus on things like work,
tomorrow,
sports, today, tomorrow. We're not thinking about will. Like, what you should do.
Will you be wearing Fredericks of Hollywood when we get home? That kind of thing.
Yeah, what you should do is just go ahead and schedule the appointment at the lawyer's office to have the will update. You set it up. And tell him, hey, tomorrow we're going down to the lawyer's office at 3 o'clock. I've already made the appointment. Jim will be there. He's going to sign all the documents to get the will updated. It's going to take about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
Can you do lunch 10 to 11 next week?
When we get done, we're going to go to dinner, have a night out, and then we'll hang out tonight.
We'll go to Dairy Queen with a girl.
Yeah, I mean, just, you got to plan it. So what can you do? Just schedule the appointment. He'll go. He has the intentions of updating his will. He told you he wanted to update the will. But you have to schedule it. Like, it doesn't say how long. Does it say how long they've been married?
No, it doesn't. Just that he's a bit older.
You obviously.
What is a bit? 5, 10 years?
20,
I don't think
30.
it's 20.
No, I'm thinking
that'd
10.
be a lot older.
Probably 10.
A bit is 10.
Yeah, so he's probably past the age of remembering crap.
Oh,
too.
I got it. She's British, right? Shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
Oh, okay.
Well, a bit is half of a quarter. So 12 and a half years. She's telling us because she said swimming.
Oh, okay.
She said swimmingly.
So she's been married 12.
He's 12 and a half years older. He's 12 and a half years older. That's a bit.
You haven't been married. My wife knows. If she wants something to happen, she plans it. And it happens. If I want something to happen.
My wife knows that too.
If I want something to happen, I tell my wife so she'll plan it and I know it'll happen.
Yeah.
It's just simple math. Like, I know I'm going to forget to plan it.
Like my wife said.
When it comes to my job and my work, I get all that stuff planned.
It's on my calendar.
Got it.
Personal stuff
I can't run 2 calendars. My wife runs our personal home calendar. I run my work calendar. That's all there is to it. It doesn't make me a bad husband. It doesn't mean I want to leave my wife and children homeless when I die. It just means I'm bad at planning. Same with this guy. Over in Britain, the men are the same as over in America.
Oh, I think he's American.
Bad at planning.
I think he's American. She's British.
Oh, okay. Well,
she goes bit and swimmingly.
Well, you married Mike from America. Don't expect him to be any different than what he's going to be.
Because I have hatred for the British.
I know.
I don't like them.
The redcoats.
Don't like them.
I'm with you, man. It's all good. It's all good. You ain't got
but something else is brought to my attention. Is his sister a total bitch? Would she allow her niece and her sister-in-law to be homeless?
Maybe. Like, that's the other part. Maybe the sister doesn't like the new wife, the younger wife, maybe he had an older wife that he was married to for a long time.
He never thought he'd get married.
Okay, maybe he had an older girlfriend. He dumped the old girlfriend, married the young girl, married her because she was so much younger. He's like, if I don't marry this one, she ain't going to date me for long.
He sees it in his sister, too, because he agrees.
Exactly.
Yeah, so make the appointment. Brad's right.
Yeah, just make the appointment, and it'll happen. No big deal.
Yeah.
No, there's no reason to even write to us about this.
No, you're good.
Yeah, like, we just...
Well, no, there is a reason because she has a question.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, that's true. So, if anybody else out there that has questions and wants good answers, send us an email.
Well, we can give you bad answers,
Yeah,
too.
we'll give you both.
But I really think you're right. If she puts it on the calendar, makes the appointment,
it'll happen.
And tells her husband, hey, we need to protect, I don't know what her name is, little Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
We need to protect her so that if anything happens to you or me, that she's well provided for, and your sister, Corella DeVille, isn't going to take care of us. Correct. Let's fix that.
Yeah. And I think he'll go along and fix it, and all will be happy. Right?
Yeah, he knows his sister's a bitch.
So.
And if she's not, let us know. Give us an update.
Yeah, shoot us another message. Let us know. Yeah, I mean, we're here to help you.
Yeah.
That's why we
Or maybe we're not here to help you, but.
We're either here to give you really good advice or really bad advice. But it's up to you to make the decision on which kind of advice we gave you.
But I really believe making an appointment with your family attorney and changing the will's in your best interest.
Yeah, and he's not going to mind. I think he'll be like,
hey, he agrees. You said it yourself.
Yeah, I'll buy lunch. Whoop-de-doo. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got. You got anything else this week?
That's it.
So, thanks, everybody. We greatly appreciate y'all hanging in there through this episode. Thanks to everybody who listens and watches every week. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you share this show on social media. Tell all your friends about it. You can follow us on X. We're at Car Backwards. I'm at Dell_yeah.
Formerly Twitter. I don't like X.
And he is at JamesFarrow3. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our other videos. Check us out on Spotify. Follow us there. Rate us there as well. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. Reviews help other people find this show. So if you enjoy it, leave us a review so other people can also enjoy it. Make sure you check out our other show, Race Car Spelled Backwards. We've got season 3 going underway now. You can send us an email at loosecannons44@gmail.com. Other than that, Loose Cannons 44 is an RCB media production. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Peace out.
You've just listened to Loose Cannons 44, a RCB media production. Thank you.